There are moments in life when the veil between the ordinary and the extraordinary becomes thin, so thin that a whisper from eternity breaks through. And today, this January 8th, Thursday, is not merely a date but a divine appointment, a signal written long before you ever opened your eyes to it. Hidden within this day is a miracle, not loud or obvious, but waiting like a sealed mystery placed directly in your path by design. And when you open it, when you truly open it, you will understand that this miracle is not meant for crowds, not for applause, not for the world's noise, but for you alone. It is sacred, personal, and meant to be received in silence, to be carried in the secret place of your heart, to be spoken of to no one. For some miracles are not to be announced but lived, not to be displayed but allowed to transform you from within. And today, on this Thursday, January 8th, the miracle is here. Open it and let it change everything. There are days that pass like dust in the wind, unnoticed, unmarked, slipping through the grasp of our lives as though they carried nothing of worth. But then there are days that stand outside the ordinary, days that arrive not by coincidence but by a whisper from the eternal realm. Days that carry within them a mystery waiting to be revealed. And today, January 8th, Thursday, is one of those days. A day whose meaning began long before you awakened to see its light. For this day is not simply a page on a calendar, not simply a square of ink and number, but a moment appointed, woven, crafted, and placed precisely in the center of your path for a reason that does not announce itself with thunder or clamor, but with stillness, with hiddenness, with a quiet insistence that something has been released into your life, something set in motion that you did not request yet have been chosen to receive. And the whisper of this day is this: the miracle is here, not coming, not forming, not approaching from some distant horizon. It is here, present, already breathing beside you, already unfolding in places you have not yet seen, already taking shape behind the veil where divine mysteries are birthed before they manifest in the visible world. This miracle, this mystery of January 8th, is not wrapped in the brilliance of spectacle, not adorned with signs shouting for attention, because the greatest miracles rarely come clothed in noise, but in the quiet garment of secrecy, in the still fabric of the hidden place where the heart must slow, must listen, must perceive what eyes miss and ears overlook. It is placed before you as a gift sealed not with ribbons, but with purpose, with destiny, with something meant specifically for you, something no one else could fully understand, even if you attempted to explain it, because it is carved in the language of your soul, inscribed with meanings shaped from your journey, your wounds, your battles, your prayers, your nights of waiting, your days of wandering. And so this miracle stands before you, not in the open square, not in the echoing halls of the world's attention, but in the inner chamber of this moment, waiting for you to open it. To open it not with hands, but with awareness, with trust, with willingness to step beyond the familiar patterns that have held you in their grip. For there are miracles that require movement, miracles that require obedience, miracles that require a heart willing to say yes without needing to understand every detail, because understanding is the language of the mind, but miracles speak the language of the Spirit. And so you are called to open what has been placed before you on this January 8th Thursday, to peel back the unseen layers of this moment and step into the revelation hidden beneath. And yet, even as you open it, there is a command woven into its unfolding: tell it to no one, not because it is shameful, not because it is fragile, not because it is forbidden in the sense the world knows forbidding, but because there are miracles that lose their potency when exposed to the noise of the world. There are miracles that must remain in the sanctuary of silence, miracles that must be guarded like a flame sheltered in the hollow of the hand, miracles that strengthen in secrecy because secrecy allows them to complete their work without interference from the doubts, fears, or opinions of those who do not carry the meaning of your journey. Some things spoken to you soon become vulnerable, become questioned, become diluted by the world's inability to understand the holy weight of something not given to them. And so the call to silence is not a call to hide, but a call to protect, a call to honor, a call to allow this miracle to grow, to take root, to transform you from within before it ever touches the outside world. For transformation begins in the hidden place, just as seeds sprout beneath the soil before breaking through into the light. And so this miracle must be opened softly, privately, reverently, because what is done in the secret place often becomes the foundation for what will later be revealed in the fullness of time. And thus, January 8 becomes a doorway, a threshold etched in time, a crossing point where the natural meets the supernatural, where the routine meets the extraordinary, where the seen world brushes against the unseen. And as you stand in this moment, you stand not as a passerby, but as one appointed to receive, one entrusted with what cannot be spoken aloud, one chosen to carry what others might overlook. There is a stirring within this day, a stirring like the first vibration of a destiny long dormant, awakening now with quiet insistence, signaling that something is shifting in the atmosphere around you, not by the force of circumstance, but by the orchestration of a higher hand. And you may feel it as a tug in the heart, a quickening in the spirit, a sense of awareness that does not come from logic, but from the inward knowing that something is different, something is present, something is here. January 8th is not empty, it is pregnant with meaning. It is saturated with purpose. It is the hinge on which something in your life will turn. And as this miracle unfolds, you may notice doors you never saw before, thoughts rising that were never there before, strength awakening that you thought long lost, clarity emerging in places where confusion once lived. You may find that what once felt impossible begins to loosen its grip, that what once felt distant begins to draw near, that what once felt closed begins to crack open with gentle light. For this miracle is not only an event, it is a shift, a movement, a breath from the eternal breathing into the temporal, aligning things that were misaligned, restoring things that were broken, softening things that were hardened, awakening things that were asleep. And yet all of this unfolds not with spectacle, but with secrecy, not with noise, but with stillness, not with announcement, but with intimacy. Tell no one, because this is between you and the one who placed this day in your path. This is between you and the destiny that is calling your name. This is between you and the miracle that is shaping itself silently within the chambers of your life. And as you walk through this day, you will carry it, not as a banner, but as a flame, not as a declaration, but as a pulse, not as something shouted, but as something lived. And you will sense its presence in quiet moments, in the spaces between thoughts, in the breath that slows and notices something has shifted. And though you may not be able to name it with words, you will be able to feel it, to recognize its touch, to know that January 8th Thursday was not like other days. For the miracle is here, and you have opened it, and though you speak of it to no one, it will speak within you, shaping the path ahead, guiding your steps in ways others may never see, doing its work in the silence where true transformation begins. And as this miracle works in the silence, it draws you into a deeper awareness of the hidden movements that guide a life, the quiet currents beneath the surface that shape destiny long before the eyes can perceive it. You begin to realize that not all miracles manifest with sudden brilliance. Some emerge like dawn, not breaking in an instant, but rising slowly, shade by shade, until what was once dark becomes filled with gentle light. And so this miracle, this mystery of January 8th, begins its rising within you, stirring thoughts that were once dormant, awakening memories that now return not to haunt but to heal, calling forth strengths you did not know were still alive beneath the layers of time. For miracles often rearrange what lies within before they rearrange what lies without, turning the heart into fertile ground for what is yet to come. And in this turning, you sense that the silence you were commanded to keep is not merely an instruction but a protection. For silence becomes a vessel that holds the sacred, shielding it from the careless touch of those not meant to carry its weight. Silence becomes the chamber where the miracle breathes and grows, where it shapes your inner landscape without interference, where it whispers truths that would be drowned out if exposed too soon to the clamor of the world. And so you keep it hidden, not out of fear, but out of reverence, recognizing that what is unfolding is not meant for public display, but for private transformation. The world searches for miracles that dazzle the eyes, but the truest miracles are the ones that reshape the soul, the ones that realign the path, the ones that call you into deeper purpose without drawing the attention of others. As you walk through this day, you begin to notice the subtle shifts, the gentle nudges, the unexpected moments that feel too precise to be coincidence. A thought that rises at the right moment, a memory that resurfaces with new meaning, a feeling of peace that enters without explanation, a sense of direction that appears without effort. You start to perceive that the miracle is not a single event, but a sequence of alignments, a weaving together of threads you once believed were unrelated. And as these threads come together, they begin forming a pattern that speaks to something greater, something intentional, something orchestrated with care. This pattern unfolds in the silence, because silence is where clarity lives. In silence, the noise of the world fades, and the deeper voice within becomes audible, the voice that has waited for the moment when you would be still enough to hear it. And now, on this January 8th Thursday, that moment has come, and the miracle uses the quiet to reveal what noise would conceal. And as this revelation grows, you start to see your life not as a scattered collection of moments, but as a journey woven with purpose. You realize that even the struggles you endured were not without meaning, for they carved the places where this miracle would now take root. The wounds became doorways to deeper understanding. The delays became space for preparation. The disappointments became soil for resilience. And now the miracle touches those very places, entering through the cracks where light is able to slip through, healing what was broken, restoring what was lost, awakening what was forgotten. It comes not with force, but with gentleness, not with spectacle, but with certainty. And though you keep it hidden, its effects begin to ripple quietly through the chambers of your life. You find yourself thinking differently, speaking differently, walking differently, not because you are trying, but because something inside you is being reshaped by the presence of this miracle. And still, you tell no one, for the silence is part of the unfolding. The silence becomes a sanctuary where the sacred work continues, where the miracle roots itself deeper before it grows outward. You sense that if you were to speak of it prematurely, something would be lost, something would become unsettled, as though the fruit would be picked before its time. And so you guard it, you shelter it, you keep it beneath the veil of the unspoken, knowing that secrecy is not concealment but cultivation. Just as seeds grow beneath the earth before rising toward the sun, so this miracle grows beneath the surface of your life, taking shape in the hidden places until the time appointed for its revealing. You feel its presence in the spaces between breaths, in the quiet of your thoughts, and the unexplainable calm that now rests where agitation once lived. It is a calm that does not deny the storms around you, but stands unmoved within them. A calm that whispers that something greater is at work, something orchestrated beyond your sight. And as this inner calm expands, it begins to reorder your priorities, drawing your attention away from distractions that once consumed your energy. You find yourself letting go of burdens you once carried as if they were required, releasing fears that once dictated your actions, shedding expectations that never belonged to you. This release is not forced. It happens naturally, as though the miracle itself is clearing space within you for what is meant to come. You begin to feel lighter, not because life has changed outwardly, but because something inwardly has begun to shift, to untangle, to free. The miracle moves quietly, but its impact is undeniable, touching places so deep that words cannot capture them, which is why silence becomes not only obedience, but necessity. And as the hours of this day unfold, you sense the alignment growing stronger. You begin to understand that January 8th is not accidental. It is precise. It is the moment chosen for this transformation, the moment when the hidden work could begin, the moment when you were ready to receive what you once would not have understood. You realize that timing is a language of its own, a language in which purpose speaks without words. And this day speaks. It speaks of renewal. It speaks of restoration. It speaks of awakening. It speaks of something long prepared, now entering its appointed hour. The more you listen, the more you sense that this miracle is not merely something you receive, but something you will one day walk into, something you will live out, something that will shape the chapters ahead. As this doorway continues to widen within you, you begin sensing that the transformation taking place is not merely preparation, but invitation, a call that beckons you toward a path you may not yet fully recognize, but can feel in the depth of your spirit. The miracle that began its work in silence now begins to illuminate the spaces within you that were once dim, revealing the strengths that lay dormant, the courage that lay unclaimed, the wisdom that lay waiting for such a moment as this. You feel as if you are being drawn towards something, not with force, but with a subtle, irresistible pull, as though a greater purpose is awakening and gently guiding you to step into its unfolding. And as this inner calling grows, you begin to understand that every shift within you has been purposeful, that every stirring, every realization, every newfound clarity has been preparing you to walk forward with confidence into the unknown that now feels less like uncertainty and more like destiny. You notice that as the inner landscape of your heart transforms, so does the way you perceive the world around you. Situations that once felt overwhelming now appear smaller in the presence of the quiet strength rising within you. You begin to discern the difference between voices that lead you astray and the voice that aligns with the peace now rooted in your soul. Distractions that once consumed your energy begin to lose their pull, for you are no longer drawn to what drains you, but to what resonates with the miracle unfolding in your life. You sense a sacred shift in your priorities, a new ordering of what matters, as though the miracle itself is shaping the lens through which you view your world. People who once confused you now seem easier to understand, not because they changed, but because the lens of your heart has cleared. Circumstances that once provoked anxiety now meet a steadier presence within you, a presence that understands you are being guided by something beyond the immediate moment. You begin to carry yourself differently, not with outward display, but with inward certainty, as though a quiet stability has settled into your bones, anchoring you in ways even you did not expect. This anchoring becomes evident in subtle ways, a deliberate breath where there once was panic, a thoughtful pause where there once was reactivity, a sense of direction where there once was wandering. It is as if the miracle has placed a compass inside you, one that points not toward the world's noise, but toward the path meant solely for you. And even though you speak of this to no one, the change is unmistakable within you, for silence has allowed this transformation to deepen without interruption, without dilution, without the influence of voices that might have questioned what they could not comprehend. And as this inner compass strengthens, you may find that certain seasons of your life begin to close gently, not with force or conflict, but with a natural release, as though the miracle is guiding you out of spaces that no longer serve your growth. These endings do not come with sorrow, but with understanding, for you sense that each chapter must close so another may open, and this January 8 miracle has ushered you into a transitional place where old things loosen their grip and new things prepare to rise. You feel the shift in relationships, in desires, in dreams, and the quiet pull of your spirit towards something higher, something deeper, something woven with meaning. It becomes clear to you that what is leaving is not being taken, but being replaced, making room for what aligns with who you are becoming. And in this clearing of space, you begin noticing signs that once you might have dismissed. Small alignments, coincidences too precise to be mere chance, moments that arrive exactly when needed, answers that come without being asked aloud. You sense that these are not random occurrences, but confirmations, subtle affirmations that the miracle working within you is not isolated, but part of a greater orchestration. These signs appear like gentle nods from the unseen, guiding you forward, assuring you that you are moving in harmony with something far wiser and more intentional than your own limited understanding. You begin trusting this guidance, trusting the peace that accompanies it, trusting the sense of alignment that grows with every step. And as trust deepens, fear begins to lose its voice, not because the world has changed, but because you have. The miracle has reshaped the internal landscape where fear once took root, replacing it with clarity, with confidence, with a sense of direction that does not depend on external assurance, The anxieties that once dominated your thoughts now seem out of place, as though the miracle has rewritten the script of your inner dialogue, giving you access to a mindset anchored in purpose rather than uncertainty. You find that decisions become easier, not because they are simple, but because you are no longer pulled in conflicting directions. The miracle has centered you, grounding you in a sense of identity and clarity that allows you to move with calm intention, and in this calm, creativity begins to stir. Ideas you abandoned now return with new life. Visions you once doubted now rise with new clarity. Aspirations you once buried now resurface with renewed strength. It is as though the miracle has cleared the fog that once clouded your imagination, allowing the deeper visions within you to finally breathe. You begin to imagine what is possible in ways you never allowed yourself to before, not with fantasy but with conviction. You sense that the dreams resurfacing are not random, but aligned with the path unfolding before you, dreams that were planted long ago but are only now beginning to awaken as the miracle nurtures the soil of your life. And as these dreams awaken, so does the realization that the miracle is not only reshaping you, but preparing you for conversations you have not yet had, opportunities you have not yet seen, connections you have not yet made, steps you have not yet taken. You sense preparation in the silence, in the strengthening of your heart, in the sharpening of your discernment, in the deepening of your awareness. You feel as though you are being readied for something beyond the horizon of your current understanding, something that will require the wisdom, the clarity, the courage, and the peace that this miracle has been cultivating within you since the moment you opened it in the quiet of this day. And though no one around you may know what is happening, you carry the awareness like a hidden flame, sheltered from the winds of doubt, protected from the noise of the world, allowed to burn steadily and grow at its own pace. You sense that the silence will not last forever, that there will come a day when what has been transforming within you will begin to reveal itself outwardly, but that day is not yet. For now, the miracle continues its work quietly, shaping you with precision, guiding you with gentleness, preparing you for the moment when silence will give way to action, when hidden transformation will give way to visible unfolding. When the seeds planted on this January 8th Thursday will begin to rise and bear the fruit they were always meant to bear, not through haste, but through the saint. 80 unfolding of time and purpose and design that continues even now, moving within you, shaping you, guiding you without a single word spoken aloud to anyone,